Wait, start now?
Now.
Wait, start now?
Now.
Start now.
Now.
Wait, now?
Now.
Hi,
Now.
feeling friends. Welcome back to episode 3, season 11. It's just us. It's just us right now. Pete, how are you? It's
Good,
been.
how are you?
Yeah, it's been raining both cats and dogs here in Los Angeles, which is not interesting, except that I was on the 101, which is a big highway, and it was a wave pool.
Yeah.
It was so flooded that people on the other side going west were kicking up these enormous waves onto us going east. And I have not seen that in quite a while.
Legit dangerous stuff right there.
Yeah. And I was driving across town to take my dog to get groomed, like the guy who gets his car washed while it's raining, idiot.
Yeah.
But I had an appointment and we drove 20 minutes and it took half an hour because everyone's going super slow. And we got in and I was drenched just walking from the car, and I brought him in and she said, "Do you have your latest rabies report?" And I was like, "What?
Oh no.
Like on me? No, that's not, I know he's not due." And she goes, "Yeah, we can't take him because our records aren't full."
Oh no.
And I said, I think I was nice, but I was mean for me. I said, "And when I called to ask if I could come over early, this is something that maybe you could have mentioned to me half an hour ago."
Are you talking to the same person?
Yeah. And she goes, "Oh, we did. We sent you an email."
When did that email come?
Don't think it did. And why wouldn't you bring it up? I don't know. I think the email was spam because it's from a company. And so it was very frustrating. But I didn't yell or say anything snappy. I just sort of reminded her, that's such a fun thing to talk about on the phone.
When I'm driving in person.
Yeah, when I'm driving to my death. But guess who was psyched about that turn of events? Foster. Because he walked in out of the rain, smelled the pheromones or whatever's going on in that dog torture bin, and immediately was like, yoink, and wanted out. This is the place where I've talked about before. I won't say the name of the business, but where once, I walk him to the little gate where they take him around back.
Yeah.
And because then he'll go with them. And then I heard this, oh. And then I hear click, 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 click. And there's Foster. He had slipped the leash and was just walking out with a face of, "Oh, they're done." It was a real quickie this time. And just sort of went right up to the door and was looking at me just like, "Okay, well, time to go. Things to do. Yeah.
Dad, they asked me if I had my rabies material, and I said no.
Nope, not on
I
me.
decided to come out with you.
Yeah. But
That's outstanding.
He does have an allergy appointment today. He has a shot that he has to get. So it's just been a real roller coaster for Foster.
It's really, I'd like to say everything's coming up Foster, but I'll bet Foster does not look at it that way.
No, between the rain and fake grooming and now shots, it's not great. But today it wasn't raining, and so we got to go on a long morning walk today, and it only started raining halfway through. Great.
Well, that's delightful, getting a little outside time. We had to do, I had a very early morning, so we had to do our morning walk, me and Gambit, in the dark. And Gambit doesn't care for that because it's, 1, dark, 2, he has terrible dark vision, and 3, it's skunk season, Tom.
Oh.
And the skunks are just in the neighborhood. Skunks. And, I don't know.
You make it sound
coyotes,
like it's like
dingoes.
Pumpkin spice time.
It is. That's what it is. It's skunk and spice. And so we have to watch that.
Wait, first, how do you know that he has bad night vision? Or are you just assuming?
Well, I just assume because when we walk by an animal of some sort that is objectively like there are no obstacles, it's in his line of sight, he does not see it. He does not see what's happening right for his face. He just keeps walking, and he should be going out of his mind crazy about it, and he does not.
Second question, has he ever been sprayed before?
Yes, Tom.
By a skunk.
And that's why we are collectively troubled by this season. Once there was a skunk in our backyard. We let Gambit out for his nighttime business time, and we heard it was dark, and we have like a floodlight that we turn on. So the light went on. There must have been something under our deck because Gambit went down, yelped, and came running back into the house.
Oh.
Only much later, and when I say much, I mean like 25 seconds later did we recognize what had happened, because he's dragging the smell of skunk like Pepe Le Pew in the air.
Behind him.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
And it is wrangling all of us by the neck as he makes a beeline for his safest place, the space under our bed in the master bedroom,
gross.
where he rolled about on the carpet under the bed where I sleep. And I mean, that is the stuff of nightmares. I have straight up lowercase trauma when I smell skunk in the neighborhood, like anywhere in proximity.
Because you remember.
Because I remember what it was like.
Okay, I'm going to say something that I know is wrong, but I think it's close. Because I've never had a dog that got sprayed. And I don't know if we have skunks out here. I've never seen them. But tomato sauce? What do you use to get it out of dogs? Tomato sauce? That can't be right.
I don't. So it was tomato juice, I think was the
okay.
wives. It was like a
that makes more
home
sense.
remedy. Yeah, right,
okay.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
But I think what
tomato
we ended
juice.
it was years ago. I don't think that's actually true. And I think what we ended up doing was vinegar.
You and vinegar with your washing machines and your dryers and your dog and your skunks.
Yeah.
Oof. Your vinegar budget must be through the roof.
Well, let me tell you, if you haven't started using vinegar in your laundry, Tom, you are the best day is today, second best day is tomorrow.
I have not, but can I give you an update since our last episode?
Yeah.
Guess what's currently taking up room in my trash can?
Fabric softener.
All the fabric softener I had.
Well
Gone.
done. Yeah. Look at you.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you put on your nice, well-laundered big boy pants.
I really did. And I've been filling my pockets filled with vinegar when I go out. So that's been a real help.
Oh, that's really good. Okay, I just looked it up from my notes app. We ended up using hydrogen peroxide and baking soda and dish soap.
Oh.
Those three things we put on. It wasn't vinegar, after all. It was the hydrogen peroxide I was thinking of. Okay. And I put a note here, important. I think maybe my mom said this. Do not rinse your dog with water first. Water closes hair cuticle and traps oil. Apply mixture directly to dry fur.
Huh.
What do you think of that?
It does sound important.
Oh, I have a whole thing here. Yeah, you mix a quart of 3% hydrogen peroxide, half a cup of baking soda, or quarter cup of baking soda, and a teaspoon of liquid dish soap.
Okay.
Dawn is what we use.
Oh, sure, Dawn.
I'm living for my notes history. This is pretty great, right?
That's exciting. Was
this
the
like
Dawn
15 years ago?
You know how they have different scents. Was it tomato sauce Dawn?
It was tomato Dawn, because everybody loves their dishes smelling slightly of tomatoes before you put actual tomatoes on it. It's like a scratch and sniff plate.
Yeah. It's an amuse-bouche for your face.
It's perfect. Amuse-bouche. Stop it.
I guess all amuse-bouches are for your face.
Yeah.
Well, good. It sounds like we're doing great. We're bathing our dogs. We're getting them shots. We're taking them out in the rain for no reason.
I can't believe I just gave away my super secret deskunking recipe from my Apple Notes on the member show.
Did you make it up?
No, I'm sure I got it from my mother. My mother gives me everything.
So.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, mother.
Okay. Mother. All right. Do you want to do a podcast?
Let's do the episode, and we're going to start it in 5, 4, 3.
It's the breath sounds that make it.
I know.
It's the breath.
I wanted people to know
That's
that
right.
I knew that you're not supposed to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Go.
Except for you usually start the show.
Is that true?
The thing is, I don't think you know that this is really your show. I
What?
just ride along. Yeah, it's just
That's
this
exciting.
is your podcast.
I am a I put the co in host.
It's choast.
Best. Yeah, I'm choast. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 3, season 11 of ATF: Still Adulting. Pete, how are you? We've got another twofer this episode.
I felt so good about last week's show because I was able to come with some degree of competence. And as I was preparing my conversation this week, I realized that I come to you with only a small degree of luck that has gotten me to where I am as a grown-up.
Okay.
That's where we are.
Wow. Do you want to go right into your segment so we can all share this misery together?
Okay. All right. Let's
Okay.
do it. What the hey? Tom, I have to establish this up front. I have in my house done real things. Okay? I have we've lived here for it's 2026. We moved in 1999. That's 27 years we're in the middle of in the same house, and it's still standing.
Mm-hmm.
I have replaced 3 toilets myself.
Right.
I've replaced 3 toilets.
Stack them up.
I have ripped out bathroom sinks, 3 of them, and installed new ones, and that includes faucets and something called caulk and the whole operation. I've done that.
And you mean you've done it?
Yes.
Not like
I've
you called
done it.
someone.
No.
Why
I did it.
Wow.
I don't know. I
Is it
don't
just
know
this-
why. It's very expensive to call somebody, and I guess I was cheap in my early years. I recognize the value of professional services and people who have studied to do things right. I have no confidence that everything beyond the surface of these repairs are working right. It could be a horrific subfloor disaster under these toilets. I have replaced...
You're just going to blame it on raccoons?
That's what I do. I have replaced deadbolts. I have replaced every light bulb in my house with a Hue smart light. That seems to be like smart lights are... That's not a rough small home repair, but I did it. Yeah. So on paper, like my small home repair resume, my CV, it looks okay. It looks like I should do this. But this is where the big and yet comes in. Like every time I start a new project, my brain treats it like it's the first day of school.
Sure.
There's like no muscle memory. There's no swagger. There's just me standing in my bathroom watching a YouTube video made by a guy named Dale who has never, ever doubted himself. And I'm thinking I'm going to flood my house. That's what's going to happen next. Where do you stand on home repairs?
Nowhere. Nowhere.
Right. Okay.
Well, I mean, part of it is because I live in an apartment, and so that's someone else's job. But, well, is that the right thing to say? I mean, it's supposed to be, that's part of the agreement, is I'm giving them money, and then when things break, they will come fix them. But I like kind of save them up. Like at one point, I always have at least 2 to 3 little dumb things that I've done to my own apartment, but I feel bad having someone come to fix it
for just one.
So I'll put in like 3 and he'll be able to spend like an hour and a half instead of 10 seconds. Yeah. But like right now, I know that there is a light fixture that has come sort of slightly, not a light fixture, but the cone that keeps the light inside the house.
Yeah.
I don't know how to... We're back to like talking to mechanics. Has come off when I was.
What are we talking about? What? Say it again. What is the thing that you're talking about right now?
The cover that you put over the light bulb, so it doesn't look just like an exposed light bulb. That
in the ceiling, like normally it would be what we call a shade, but that's a glass piece.
That's the one. That's the one that fell out. And in my restroom, the toilet, one of the toilet paper holders is just slowly coming out of the wall. And I tried to screw it back in because, I'm a real handy guy, but it's stripped, obviously. Yeah. Like it just goes around and around and around. And so that's a problem that is just slowly happening. And I'm just letting it sort of slowly happen. I don't have a good... Oh, here's what I wanted to ask you. Sorry, before I forget. Because I have not watched a lot of fix-it-yourself YouTubes. I've done it once for a car thing when I replaced a brake light, and I thought I was God Superman. Among men. Yeah. Oh, my God. Are car YouTube... I'm sorry, are small home repair YouTube videos like recipes where they talk about how this toilet fix saved their marriage, and it just goes on and on and on, or do they get right to it?
As you can imagine, it is...
And how do you know...
There's a wide swath of kinds of home repair videos. So you have to just watch a bunch of them to find the handyman channels that really work. And those are the ones that get right to it, right? You can sometimes tell by going to their shorts section on YouTube and see what their shorts are. Like sometimes they'll show you how to replace the wax ring in 60 seconds. And that's what you want, right? Somebody who can explain
right to it.
thing that I'm terrified of very fast. Then I'll go back and try to find the longer video and do that. So
there was one, I do remember one when I had a pretty bad clog in my tub in the drain, which has now been fixed. But I did go on YouTube. This is maybe one of the reasons I've been a little bit wary of it. I watched a good 6-minute long video where this guy talked about this one chemical that you can only get like at Lowe's or Home Depot. And it's, make sure to wear gloves and make sure to do this and air out the room. And then you pour it in there. And I've written down the name of the chemical. I've written down how much to put in it. And only then at the end, he goes, but this is not to be used in most pipes because it's incredibly corrosive. Start there. What if I had just been like, got it done? Like,
always watch to the end, I guess is the lesson.
So I probably should have mentioned that too. Yeah. That's what he needed for his shorts. So,
for sure.
Okay.
I'll tell you the one. So I start with the toilets and the wax rings because they're gross. Do you know the wax ring? Do you know about the wax ring?
I don't think so.
Okay. So when you replace a toilet, you picture this clean, like porcelain part, right? The part that looks like furniture. And what you don't picture is that moment that you lift the toilet off the floor and discover what is lurking underneath. It is an ancient, it is vaguely biological looking, like a sphincter seal.
Ew, is this what connects it to the floor?
Yeah. It's a ring that connects the bottom, like the pipe. I don't know what it's called. The part up front that leaves the toilet and puts it into the pipe that takes it into the sewer. And that is what's standing between your bathroom and the sewer system. And it looks like something you would find in like an archaeological dig. And it was definitely installed by somebody who is like now dead and likely they died from touching it. Like that's how it feels. That's how it feels to me. And you have to scrape it off like with your hands adjacent to it because it is like desiccated wax and it has been through a lot at this point. And you have to get a new one that is perfectly formed and you set it on top of the drain and you stick your toilet on it and you have to like shimmy your toilet onto it and to get it to sit right and screw it down. It is like it's like the load bearing feature of my life when I am trying to put a toilet down. It like everything feels fragile and jiggly, and it is a metaphor of adulthood. It's disgusting and yet essential. And here's what I just learned. Learned. Those things fail over time and must be replaced.
Oh, no.
I don't remember what got me to replace them the last time on our last 3 toilets. It just felt like it was a thing that I was doing already. We were like doing the floor or something. So we'd pulled up floor and I had to take the toilet off to do new floor and replace the wax ring and got into this hole. You push one domino down and everything comes to pieces.
Sure.
But now I have heard that it is important to replace these things on some sort of a cycle because they will leak into subfloor and you won't know it. And it's gross when that happens. So what are you going to say?
Well, I have a question to go back a step. Number one, more of a statement. You sounds like you're going through way too many toilets. Number 2, why did you choose to do these things instead of having someone come in? Was it to save money? Was it I am man and I feel like this is my home and I should do this?
Yes. So it was the latter. And I think it's because we were reasonably newly married. Okay. And when you go to Home Depot, there is a certain vibe that if they sell parts, not like over the counter, right? If I could just walk up to a shelf and buy a part for a few dollars, then I should be able to install that part. Right? Like if it's easy to come by, my ego is saying, then you could totally, if it's easy to buy, it should be easy to fix. And that is not true. That is not true. I got lucky.
Like it is kind of true for you.
No, I got absolutely lucky until I got into to drywall. Drywall is a very different specialty.
Okay.
Electricity is a very different
Yeah.
specialty. And so I feel like plumbing was a way to kind of get into it. And I feel like plumbing in my little domestic bliss, I can see where things are leaking. I know how to use plumber's tape and seal leaks. I can do that because I can see it. But the stuff I can't see, the stuff that is kind of foundational to the walls and the home, I get very, very scared.
So
Very
are
scared
you
by.
worried that you are living in a time bomb? Like
Uh-huh.
that things are going, that all of your
Yeah.
like handy dandy, I can
Yeah.
buy it so I can make it things are all just
Here's
going
another
to,
one. We have, we have temperature swings, massive temperatures. So here's an example of one I've never done. I've never done myself.
Mhm.
Temperature swings are bad news for plumbing. And in fact, we have
Sure.
a copper tube, a copper pipe. It's not a tube, it's a pipe. I know the difference. That runs
don't.
along the uninsulated rim of the inside of my attic above the garage down to the exterior hose bib. It's called a hose bib. And that provides the hose where you could attach the hose to the house to get water. Now,
Okay.
when it gets real, real cold, before it gets cold, you have to bleed the valve. You have to bleed that pipe so that it's empty of water. So you open it up on the outside and you let all the water out and then close it on the inside at the house side where it's still warm. And then that pipe, that copper pipe, is empty. It doesn't freeze
Because if
with
it
water in it.
freezes, then it expands and then it breaks.
And then when it starts to thaw, it will
Yeah.
pop that copper. And
Oh.
it is loud
that
and
copper.
destructive. Oh my God. Now, Tom, this is the thing that's interesting. The copper pipe, they can come in and they just cut out a little section where it broke and they put a little joiner in and they
Mhm.
weld it and do whatever they need to do. And suddenly the pipe is fixed.
Mhm.
This happened once. And my wife and I are both standing there and we see water is starting to pour out of the attic onto our cars in the garage.
Cool.
It's like, it's not cool. You shut your mouth.
But for a second, were you like, it's a copper pop? We got this.
It is funny when you stand in the neighborhood and the temperature goes down, you can actually hear, you stand quietly and you can hear house plumbing pop. Like,
Oh, it's like walking down
because it all
Broadway in
happens at
Nashville.
once.
Like
Yeah.
you could hear all the different bands.
Yes, that's what it is. Because it all happens at once. And if you didn't bleed your
Yeah.
valves, it's going to happen to you. So it's happening. And I didn't know how, this was very early, and I didn't know how to turn everything off. And so my wife called our friend, aptly named Tommy, another Tommy, who
Hey.
is in construction. And she's talking to him and says, how do you do this? And his words, you know what he said? The most humiliating thing that's ever been said in my presence.
Oh, no.
Well, where's Peter?
Oh, no.
I was standing right there and I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot that day. And when we went up in
Cool.
the attic after things dried out, you could see there were like 9 different joints on that copper pipe. This was not the first time it happened. And I was
Yeah.
not the first person it happened to in our house. And that's a thing where plumbing is too far. So that's the kind of home repair we're talking about, like these tiny home repairs where I may be able to do the thing correctly and still I end up feeling like a fraud, because as soon as somebody comes in who really knows what they're doing, they just show that it's artwork. Like, it's incredible. The drywall is the thing. Like, I thought I could do drywall. You just go and you get a sheet of drywall and you get a little knife and you bend it back and forth and you put some
Hey.
putty and tape and smooth it out. There is so much more into it than that.
I bet.
Oh my God. These guys come in and in 15 minutes they have the place taped up, like hermetically sealed because of the dust.
Wow.
I didn't consider the dust. I was just
Sure.
breathing it in. No,
Yeah.
it is the absolute worst. So that's where I've learned that if I want to feel good about something that I do in my house, it has to be at the level of light bulbs.
You mean don't go chasing waterfalls?
Right. Right.
Please stick to the light bulbs
Right.
and the hose bibs that you're used
Yep.
to.
Yep. Light bulbs and hose bibs. That's about where it is. And so I really feel like I've gotten there. Now, I still do. We've pulled, you talk about the toilet dispenser in the wall. We had We've done this a number of times.
That makes it sound like that's why you have so many toilets. Is you just have a toilet dispenser cling, and just another toilet pops out of your wall. Jesus, Pete.
No wonder
those are not supposed to be disposable.
Yeah. So we've pulled towel racks out of the drywall.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, the last time around, I installed a new one, and I was very frustrated by it. And so I thought, this is it. I'm just gonna. I stuffed the wall with, like, I don't know, paper towel or something, and I filled it with a bunch of putty, and I just filled it and hoped it would dry hard enough that I could cover it and pretend it never happened. And then when I found a new place and I put the towel rack in, and I used a bunch of like epoxy I screwed it in and filled it all with epoxy. And that turns out was a large mistake, because it invariably fell out of the wall. But instead of falling out cleanly from the screw holes, it took a giant chunk of drywall out of the wall on both sides. So we end up with these huge holes in our bathroom. And perfect. I end up ostriching. So I'm sitting there. We use the toilet day in, day out right next to this area. And I'm just looking to the right. And there are two giant holes looking straight into hollow wall. And eventually I just can't see it anymore. It's just there. And it's just a part of you now. It's just a part of me now. Eventually, it took years, but eventually I fixed it. Again, part of my domestic treaty with my wife, we probably did some sort of a trade that was worth it to me. And she said, you have to wake up and fix these holes. And you know what? I did. I did it properly, and I was able to fix it, and it looks good. I painted and everything.
Oh, wow.
And so I did it, but I still feel like an absolute idiot.
Sure.
And I go into the spiral.
What would it take you? So I guess what it would take you to be more confident is to not shoot too high. That's what you were saying? Stick to light bulbs? Okay.
There's a part of me that thinks, okay, when you go, you probably don't do a lot of hardware store shopping, like Home Depot, Lowe's shopping. I'm sorry, what?
No. Sorry. Did my absolute disgust make a noise out of my face? Yes. I do not. I do not do that.
Well, there's a hardware store spiral, the Home Depot spiral. It's like a dance that you go into, and you go in for one thing and you leave with 9 things, and 3 of them are wrong. Sure. And
you go back. That's what I've
you go back twice.
Yeah,
it's not good. It's the circle of life. And just speaking as an aside to toilets, every one of the 3 toilets that I have repaired, I have gone back for separate toilet seats that were the wrong shape, and then the right shape but the wrong color, every time. Because in the store, you cannot tell white from light beige cream until you get home and realize those are the wrong color matching. It's not good.
Right. And you don't bring the toilet with you.
No. Toilet wax ringed to the floor.
Right.
So I go in there often, and I think to myself, look at all, they have courses. They have courses where you use their tools and you use their parts, and they teach you how to do these fixes in your home.
I didn't know that.
They do. And I think to myself,
it's like the Genius Bar for screwdrivers? Wow.
That's it.
Okay.
And I think this is a thing that I think I could get my head around. I think I should go in and take a class or two when it comes time to learn to fix stuff. I bet I could increase that level of confidence, because right now I have no confidence, and I'm always hitting I know I should call someone threshold.
Yeah.
And it's on that spectrum, and depending on my mood or confidence, I could hit that early. I could hit that very, very late. Right now, because of all we're dealing with in our house and ripping off the back of the house, I know there isn't a single thing I can contribute beyond just making sure insurance pays the bill. I am a non-contributing zero beyond being in the way. But I'd like to see eventually maybe some things improve.
That'd be cool to take a class like that.
Yeah.
Is the class called Where's Peter? Where's Peter? A study in competence?
Find Peter. He's hiding in a shelf somewhere in this Home Depot, and you have to find him.
Yeah,
it's like the Find My. Yeah, right. Here's the Find My app of Peter's confidence. Will tell you what section he's in, and it turns out he's always just sniffing paint.
He's just always sniffing paint under a
looking for an out.
toilets.
He's sitting next to the paint shaker and just holding on for dear life. It's the only thing that makes him feel alive.
That's funny.
Okay. All right.
That's a good
Is that
image.
useful at all?
Very good.
Okay.
In the top left, it says season 10.
Yeah, it really does. See, what is
I just
over
noticed
that is the live indicator
Right.
for me,
But see,
and the number
But-
and the number of people watching live, and I can't see season 10.
I can
Under
only
season
see
number
season
9.
10. It's all I see.
Okay.
Wait, are people really
I'll fix
watching?
Not today. They can,
Okay.
but they aren't today.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready?
It's you.
Yeah.
Showtime.
According to a 2024 survey by American Home Shield, 1 in 6 homeowners who attempt a DIY repair end up damaging their home further, costing themselves an average of $600 extra. 1 in 6. Which means, statistically speaking, if you're at a dinner party with 5 other homeowners and someone brings up replacing a toilet, one of you is nodding along while secretly having flooded a bathroom. One of you watched the same YouTube video as the rest, brought home the same parts, and instead of fixing it, created a situation. And here's the part that wrecks me. 96% of homeowners say home repair basics should have been taught in school. 96%! We have a 96% consensus that no one prepared us for this. We can't agree on anything as a country. Not pizza toppings, not whether it's okay to recline on an airplane, but nearly every single one of us agrees we were not trained for the houses we live in. So we go to YouTube. 3 out of 4 of us try to fix things ourselves first. We watch a man named Dale in a well-lit garage explain how to replace a wax ring, and we think, I can do that. And most of the time we can. It works. The toilet flushes, the faucet stops dripping, the deadbolt locks. But we never feel like we know what we're doing. We feel like we got away with it. Because the gap between completing a repair and feeling competent is $600 wide and one dinner party confession deep. Wanna be the 1 in 6 and the 5 in 6? We're the people who fixed it, and the people who made it worse, and the people who are currently ignoring a sound coming from somewhere in the basement. And you can confirm your membership to this fantastic community by becoming a Feeling Friend today. For just $35, you can sleep soundly knowing that you're a supporter of this season of All the Feelings. Plus, you get access to your very own members-only podcast feed, chock full of members-only extended editions of our episodes, members-only episodes, trailer archives, so much stuff. So jump in now, support the season, and know that you're supporting Pete and Tom from the tips and tools all the way to the wax seals. Just visit allthefeelings.fun to learn more, and thank you for your support. And now, on with the show.
Perfect. It's been a while since we've had an angry Feeling Friends. I love it. I'll hear you scream 96% for like half an hour straight. That's outstanding.
I was dying when I was putting that together. I was dying and
It's
so
really
mad
funny.
and like I just feeling like I am not alone, and why am I so alone? It's just the worst.
Yeah.
So
I took a shop class, and the only thing I got a D, and the only thing we made was I think it was a little piggy bank, or it was a mailbox. Either way, it was shaped like a pig, and I called him Splinters, and I loved him very much. And I did not get a good grade.
amazing.
Okay, should we try this tipping around? I didn't really write. Let's see. Tipping around the world, the only game show. Just make something up. Okay, got it. And you can just put in some basic ba 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 kind of music. Cool. And now, welcome back to Tipping Around the World, the only game show where gratuity is the point. And we're going to be introducing our first contestant, Pete. Say hi, Pete. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
hi, Tom. I'm a notoriously confused tipper from Portland.
Fantastic. Well, we're not going to be talking about Portland. Okay, now I'm becoming a morning DJ. Hold on. It's Maniac and the Fuzz. Okay, here we go. I have just a list of some different, because my topic, spoiler alert, is going to be about tipping and tipping culture. I wanted to know what tipping was like around the world, and I think you'll know some of these, and some of these you might not.
Okay.
And because we're talking about tipping, I would like to put a wager on it. I know that's not how tipping works. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. How many do you think you can get? Correct.
3.
3.
My confidence is not high.
If you get 4 correct, Pete, I'm going to give you a $5 podcast tip.
What?
In real money. This is how I'm juicing up this segment, because it's not well researched nor well written. Here we go.
Right, especially because all I have to do is intentionally fail. Oh no, it's the other way around. I have to get 4.
Yeah, you have to get 1 more than you thought you would get.
Yes,
that's how it was going to work. Yes.
All right.
Okay.
I like that.
This first one, I think you're going to know. So, what is the basic, and pretty much what we're talking about is this a culture that tipping is encouraged or discouraged? Okay. That's pretty much what I'm looking for. 50-50.
Okay.
The first one, I'm going to give you a layup because I think you know it. Japan.
Discouraged.
Correct. It's not just uncommon. It's considered embarrassing and awkward. Exactly right. You got 1.
Man,
here we go.
We live in the wrong place.
I know. Egypt.
I think encouraged.
Very encouraged. It's called bakshish, and it means a tip or charitable alms for the poor. And they will even say, and it doesn't even have to be poor. They're saying that for service workers, it's very encouraged. And they will say, now, like they hold out their hands.
I'm ready for you. Yeah.
Here we go. China.
Oh, I'm going to say discouraged.
Ooh, Pete, you were on a roll. Correct.
Okay.
One of the tenets of China is all people are equal and none is a servant to another. And so tipping makes it seem like you have superiority over them.
Yeah.
And so it's considered taboo. All right. Australia.
Oh. Well, I think probably encouraged.
No, that's why I gave you that one. It is not expected nor encouraged.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and throw New Zealand. It's a little bit more same thing, but it's in New Zealand, it's strictly merit-based. There's nothing. It's what tipping culture should be, meaning you did such a good job. I want to give you a reward versus it being baked into the system like it is.
Okay. It's not like
it's very rare.
Yeah. Like the automatic, you're going to give 20% on this transaction just because you used a credit card.
Right. Okay. So I have 2 more for you. I'm reducing my amount. And so you have 2 more options. You have to get one of these correct. Okay. And then you win 5 podcast dollars. Okay. Here we go. South Korea, not North Korea, where everything is discouraged. South Korea.
Discouraged.
Pete, what are you going to do with that $5? It is unacceptable. Service workers will actually see it as rude. You're exactly right, Pete. Not bad.
I have to tell you, Tom, that's a little bit of a gimme because I used to live there.
Wait, I thought you used to live in Japan. That's why I thought that was a layup. You used to live in... Oh, no! I shot myself in my own game show foot. That's why I started with Japan. I mixed it up. I thought you used to live in Japan. That's right. South Korea. Yeah. I blew it. Well, here, I'm going to give you 1 more as a bonus. See if you like this. Iran.
So far away. Discouraged.
Trick question. Encouraged, but not money. Gifts mean a lot more than monetary compensation. So travelers are encouraged to express their appreciation of hotels with a small gift from their country. So you would bring something from America like jeans or a milkshake and bring it to Iran and leave that for the workers.
The milkshake highway.
Yeah.
I love that.
It brings all the boys
start bringing milkshakes everywhere. Yeah,
absolutely. This has been Tipping Around the World or whatever it was called. Okay, done.
I shot myself in my own podcast foot. Best line.
Okay. And then
Hi.
you can put in, okay, my segment. Do you have a guess what my segment's going to be? Oh, I've already said. We're talking about
toilets and wax rings?
Culture. Yes.
Yeah.
When I was preparing for this segment, I was reminded of two math hacks, for lack of a better phrase, that I was taught by my father when I was young.
Okay.
One of the first ones, it's not really a hack. It was more drilled into me, but it was very helpful. I was having trouble. I've never been good at math. And I was having trouble with my times tables.
Mhm.
And so what we did, this was in Vienna, Virginia, we marched around our house, going room to room, as we just said, he would go, 2 times 5 is, and I'd say 10, 3 times 5 is, and we just did it over and over and over again, all the way up to 10 and then back until it was just sort of drilled into my head, like it was just memorized. That was the first one. The second one is an actual hack, and it was about tipping. And it's the way that I still tip today. And it's the reason that I still tip today is because I can't do math any other way. He said he was brought up saying that 20% is the way to go. This is like in restaurants and stuff. So you just move the decimal point left one and you double it. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
When people are like, oh, I'm going to leave 15%. I'm like, go kick rocks. I can't do that kind of math. Get out of here. Why do I bring this up? Because, and this is a surprise to no one, we were just around the world, Pete, but we're going to be talking about United States here. Within the last few years, or maybe 4 to 5, there's been a new phrase being used whenever I make a purchase. And I think you know what it is. The person behind the counter at pretty much anywhere will point to a screen in front of me and say, what? Do you have a guess?
Do you want to leave a tip?
No, they say, okay, it's going to ask you a question.
Oh, God, you're right.
That's the way they phrase it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
They say this little mechanical robot has a personal question to ask you, and it ends up going in my pocket. Yeah. And it's how much do you want to tip? And it is everywhere. Now, starting after this really came up during the pandemic, as all things do in this podcast. And part of that is because so many different companies started moving away from cash and the use of digital payment systems exploded. There are 2 terms for this that I had not heard before. Okay. Have you heard of tipflation?
No, that was new.
It's a couple of years old. Tipflation. That's the idea of the amount of times you're asked for a tip across different things. And then tip creep. That's also the rise in tip prompts. More and more touchscreen checkouts.
Yeah, that feels at home for me. Yeah, I get that all the time.
Tip creep. Well, we've always said you're kind of a tip creep. And I've been asked, I was trying to think of all the different places that I've been asked for a tip recently, and one of them was at a self-service kiosk at the airport. Just hard baked into these systems now, and it's kind of confusing of what to know and what's appropriate. Now, do you know where tipping comes from?
Oh,
if you
history lesson.
I can give you an extremely short tipping.
I would appreciate that. Yes, please give me the history.
It comes from Europe. Back in the medieval times, there were masters and serfs. That was sort of the way that the communities were set up. And serfs were like peasants who were obligated to work the land of their masters, but they had more rights than slaves, and they were under their protection. So they were just sort of like workers. And they were given gratuities when they did a particularly good job at something around the estate. After the Civil War ended, Americans traveled to Europe, saw this happening, and brought that idea back to the States with them. So they'd seem extra fancy pants. They'd seem very snooty, so they just started throwing around gratuities. This was matched by, and here's where it gets dark, as most things do in America. This was matched by freed slaves that were still very limited in where they could work. They had achieved freedom, but they weren't hired for a lot of jobs. If they weren't sharecropping, a lot of freed slaves worked at service positions where they were only paid in tips by those they served. They were not being paid by their employers at all. I found a cool quote. I mean, it's sad, but it's very true. Sarah Jaraman, co-founder and president of the Restaurant Opportunities Centers United, said, quote, "It's the legacy of slavery that turned the tip in the United States from a bonus or extra on top of a wage to a wage itself." Now, flash forward to 1938, the first minimum wage law was set up as a part of the, what's it called? Very big New Deal. But restaurant workers weren't included in the reform. and employers were only required to pay tipped workers a wage that would add up to the federal minimum wage when combined with tips. So it helps employers, it helps restaurants. It doesn't necessarily help the workers. And it just sort of became solidified that certain workers in hospitality were largely paid through tips, and restaurants could pay them less than a minimum wage as a result.
Wow.
Can I tell you, all praise to the Irons? Ironically, do you know where tipping has become incredibly unfashionable? Europe, where it came from.
Oh,
yeah, that's why you aren't expected to tip at almost any European restaurants. America just went hard the other way. And as I said, during the pandemic, it just exploded because we moved away from cash, replaced it with digital transactions, and the tip ask just came along for the ride. And it helps more than just the workers, because a lot of times when you are using that tip function on that digital transaction, that company is getting a very, very small piece of it. Yeah. So you're just tipping all the way up.
Oh my God, that's awful.
There's an enormous amount of cashless, completely cashless restaurants and coffee places here. Is that the same in Portland?
Oh yeah.
Like California, like everything new that is opening up is just
cashless.
Cashless, or like Apple Pay, stuff like that. Yeah.
That's interesting. So I guess I'm conflating those things. My experience is all I use is, cashless.
Right.
But I actually don't know if I have an option to go in and pay in like nickels.
I'm talking about they don't have cash registers. There's not a cash register in any of these places. There's just a screen. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that's become, and it's probably, to be honest, I mean, it probably is attractive for a couple reasons. One of them, safety.
Yeah.
You can't steal beeps and boops from a computer, I don't think, or maybe you can.
Right.
But yeah, there's just not cash on hand. And there's whole supermarkets that are opening up that are cashless, that are just cards. Yeah.
I don't have, is Ralph's that way? Would you know?
Oh, Pete, I know everything about Ralph. No, it's not. It's a trade system. You have to I'll buy lunch meat, but I have to give them like a chicken that I've been raising or something. It's very, very colonial. It's pretty
very colonial.
Yeah.
You got to replenish the stores.
Yeah. So where are we now? I mean, there's no real huge answer to this. There are etiquette people that have suggestions, but I used to know how and when to tip. Bartenders, servers, my haircut person. But should I be tipping a barista? Someone at a restaurant? When I go to a restaurant and pick up food, no one has delivered it to me. I'm supposed to tip that person who's behind the counter?
Right. Here's the thing I struggle with. Is it so much that what are you tipping on in that condition? Are you tipping the fact that you drove over there and picked it up, or are you tipping the fact that, hey, people still made it and packaged it, right? Maybe the bringing it to the table is the last step and the smallest step of everything else that goes into making your meal. And the tip represents your awareness of that. I don't love it because it just I don't see a way out of tipping culture, because we have too long said that restaurants are just a hair's breadth away from insolvency on any given day. And tipping is the only way that they can survive. That's the logic that's in my head. I don't know how true that is, but that's the logic that's in my head. Apart from the 1% of the 1% of restaurants that will never have an issue, which I've never eaten at one of those. But what I know is that these are industries that say, look, tipping is the only way we can stay in business. So that seems to be the handcuff of tipping to us heretofore into the future. So my assumption is, if there's a tipping screen and there's a human being standing behind it saying, now it's going to ask you a question, I'm pretty much always going to tip.
I know. And don't look over the fact that they're standing right there. They're going to know.
They can see what if you hit skip.
You used to be, you'd sign something, make a little note, and then you'd put it inside this little case and leave it on the table and
run.
Yeah, you just chew and screw and you're out the door. Right. But instead, now they're looking at you like, not tipping them. It's impossible.
When I was young, the term was spitter, and that was the thing you never wanted. You always wanted to pay after the food was brought to you, because if they see you not tip, then I low-key still have it in my head that somebody's going to spit on my burger.
Yeah. That's why I've talked about it before, but my late grandparents would constantly, one of their ways to, I guess, feel in control or powerful, would constantly send back food at their club, constantly. And I'm like, it wasn't that great to begin with. What's it now?
What are you going to get back?
Yeah, this is not soup. And everything you're saying is about restaurants is true, but maddening. Like, I know it's so idealistic and overly optimistic in a capitalist society, and it's a cliche, but everyone should just be paid a livable wage if they work hard. And if your business can't afford to stay in business, if you pay your employees that, then you don't have a viable business. I kind of think the same way of like when businesses started going under after a month of the pandemic.
Yeah.
You don't have enough flash cash to stay open for a month.
Yeah.
Were you really a business? Like, that is not a functioning business. Yeah. I also know that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not a business owner, but it just feels like if there's not any margin, then what are we doing?
Yeah. Right. I think about it like when I do business with companies like Tom Bin. Have you ever heard of Tom Bin?
No.
Tom Bin.
But I like this part of the show. Last episode was Les Schwab. Like, you always have this cool guy.
Oh, this is good.
Or this cool company.
All right.
Yeah.
So Tom Bin makes bags. They make like backpacks and travel bags, and they're very high quality. They're pretty expensive, but they last you forever, right?
Cool.
Tom Bin. They're made in Seattle. I love them. I love the company. We have 3 Tom Bin bags. My kids had Tom Bin bags going through high school and now college, and I have a Tom Bin backpack briefcase. I just really like Tom Bin.
Sure.
They never have sales. There is no sale, no President's Day, no Arbor Day, no like Christmas, no discounts ever. And their methodology on their website is, look, we pay livable wages for high quality products, and those livable wages and high quality products also come out over Christmas and on Arbor Day and on President's Day. Why would we discount for time? That's just not who we are. I kind of feel like that the same way around tipping, to your point, but we can't get there one business at a time. Right? It's sort of, we all have to recognize, restaurant owners, restaurant customers, servers alike, that we're all, in order to raise all boats, we're going to have to chip in the price of the food that we're selling, and some are going to lose.
Yeah.
And I don't know how else to get there.
There's like 6 or 7 states, California included, that have already done, made steps to raise the minimum wage, to have, and I believe there is more of a culture of no tipping restaurants that are starting to open out here, more so because it's baked in. The money, like they'll have a service charge. They call it a service charge, and they've just upped the amount of money. But yeah, there's a give and take to that, because some people can't stand that, but then there's other people that don't tip on a $50 amount of food, and that's horrible.
Well, like it used to be just like if you have more than 7 people in your party, there's an automatic gratuity.
Right.
That's kind of what we're saying for everybody. There is just the service charge, and it's part of the meal. Yeah. But I am just looking up in Portland. There are a number of places that charge. Here's Kachka charges 22% service charge. The Tailwind Cafe and Bar, completely tipless. Bernstein's Bagels and Mirisata are worker-owned cooperatives, no tipping. That is interesting. I've never really looked at that, but I kind of feel like that's hopefully maybe where we're going
to go.
Because I don't think,
because it's not like we're all going to go bankrupt. It's going to be spread out among all of us. That little bit of service charge, and if everyone can pitch in a little bit, it'll make it work. But
do you know what the tip is?
A lot of control out of people. Yeah.
You know what the tip is being replaced with, Tom?
What?
The Google review.
Interesting.
Because I was just, I'm not even saying that as a joke, because I realized that if you take away tipping, then you take away one lever that I have as a customer to say I enjoyed my experience. Which is what I grew up believing tipping was. This experience was extra because you made it extra. And in fact, if you take that away or you build it into everything, what other thing do I have? Frankly, I think businesses would prefer this, the Google review. And that's why they go out of their way to give you QR codes and things to tell them how their service is. If the service is really great, if you'd eat there again, leave the Google review, and that becomes sort of currency.
Right.
That becomes a way for you to say, I valued this more than other places.
There is one problem with that.
What's that?
Is people. Because with Google reviews, we live in a world of 5 stars or 1 stars. Yeah, there's never anything in between is the one thing that I would, but I mean, that's another way to do it. I
just don't know what else there is. What else is the currency of love?
It's not merit-based anymore.
Yeah,
it's just baked into the system, which is a shame. Yeah. I do have one thing that I can share that I found out, because there's wildly different feelings about this of what's appropriate and what's not. But there's one place that I found that all, I guess these are real people, etiquette experts say that you don't have to tip on. As a rule, anyone working at a counter is earning a wage. Those that are delivering food either to your table or to your home, they rely on tips as a major part of their income. Mm-hmm. But tipping people who work behind a counter, like a barista or a cashier, it's not a requirement to tip them because they're already being paid in full.
Okay.
Is what they say, even if the tablet suggests otherwise. And one of the things to remember is it's not like the workers all came together and said, we need these tips. A lot of these things, it's just hard baked into the tablet. Yeah. It's just how the system works, because it made sense for restaurants and it doesn't make as much sense for self-serve kiosks at airports, but it's just there. You don't get to choose not. So we don't, when in doubt, be more generous, but I'm not tipping a robot at the airport. And I'm probably going to not be, unless it's a place that I go a lot. I don't know if the barista at Starbucks needs that.
Okay, I'm just going to say,
$1, why not give them $1? Who cares?
Well, see, I use the app every time I go. And now I've just over the last couple of months, I've started getting the notification after I drive away. It says, hey, do you want to leave a tip? Pop up on my phone.
Right.
So
that's Uber technology. Right.
I never do it. Now all of a sudden I feel terribly guilty, but it's the same thing. Like I do. They're at a counter. They should be making a wage.
When you drive away, do they catch up and say, "Can I just see your coffee again for a second?" we forgot just this one little thing. No, it's not pumpkin spice. Yeah, just a little extra, a little boost.
That's gross. Why would you do that to me?
Good enough.
Good enough for sure.
I do not have Coda open.
That's okay. I got you.
Oh,
Tom,
okay, great.
Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us on this episode. This week's tune is Bolt by Messwave. Coming up next week, Tom, do you remember what we're doing next week?
I don't. And I just... I have it on a yellow sticky. That's right. We have another twofer, but this time, unlike tipping and small home repairs, these are a little bit more connected. We will be talking about maintaining friendships. And I guess we're talking about, because this is still adulting, maintaining relationships or friendships in your middle age. And then also the quest and hope to be a good guest or a good host.
Oh, that's an important one right there.
These are exciting. These are good ones.
Goodness. Yeah. I'm really excited about that one. I'll be doing the friendships one. Who cares? Nobody shows up for that. They want to show up for you talking about being a good guest and a good host.
Great.
That's it.
Great. Okay, good. You're all our guests and we're your hosts. So thank you so much for downloading. Until then, I'm Tommy Metz III.
And I'm Pete Wright. Thanks so much. We'll be back next week with all the feelings, still adulting.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
And I fixed the graphic and you probably didn't even notice.
Oh, I didn't. How adorable.